We have a July baby coming, so kind of need a quilt kind of quick, and I thought a red, white, and blue Mickey quilt. Well, since I'm working on the Brother Stellaire and it's a Disney machine, what better way than making it a Mickey red, white, and blue quilt? This is Sewing Tech Talk, and today I want to show you how you can create a mask, and we're going to use a topper to make sure our embroidery comes out just so, because I'm going to be doing a pretty big Mickey on It's a Small Quilt after all. I'm Kathy. This is Sewing Tech Talk. Come on, let's play with Disney. So let's talk about embroidery masking, but first I want to talk a little bit about Disney designs. Disney designs are built into this machine. It's a Brother Stellaire. And Disney designs are kind of special. They also have Marvel, they have Toy Story. Well, the Disney catalog of designs. They're special designs. So that means in the machine, I really don't have a lot of modifications that I can do. So when I'm doing this quilt, I wanted to do like a red work Mickey, and so I'll show you how I can do that, because I can definitely change the colors of the design. And when I'm doing my mask here, I can take the outline. But let's explore some of those Disney designs before I move on so that you can see. So I have him, and I have him in memory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come home, okay, and let's go to this category right here, which are all the Disney designs. So these, you can see, I have different categories. I have, of course, Mickey and Minnie, Winnie the Pooh, the princesses, Cars, and Snow White. Tons of different designs. The one I'm using is this guy right here. And there's a big Minnie too. So when I pick any one of these designs, let's say I pick this one, set, you can see that's a fairly small design. If I want to enlarge it, well, I have that limitation that I can't. So when I come into edit, you'll see that only the things that I can do are the things that are highlighted. I can move it, rotate it, I can make a duplicate of it, so I can make multiples, I can change the colors, I can make it into a patch, and I can do some embroidery around the outside. You've seen all of those Sewing Tech Talks. If you haven't, you can go do that, and you can see how you can do all of those different functions. The one thing I can't do is I can't change the size, and I can't mirror image it. Because I can't change the size, I can't change the density. So there are some limitations for what you can do with these designs. Why can't I mirror image it? Well, you can see down here, let's bring it up larger so that you can see this design. We'll blow him up. See how it has copyright Disney on the bottom? If I was to mirror image it, it would be, it wouldn't say Disney, and that wouldn't be very good. So I can't mirror image it. But when you think about it, what if I sewed this design on the back and didn't do that little Disney part? Could I, quote, modify it that way? Well, sure. Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you sew it on the back and have the bobbin area thread be the one that you like? I've done a video on reverse embroidery, and I think you can go find that in the Sewing Tech Talk catalog. So I could do this, and I could do it backwards and have the bobbin thread be the fancy thread, especially since it's really only just one color, and I'm just doing one color on these two. So that's something to keep in mind. I can change the colors. So obviously when I bring this guy in, if I want to do a different color, I just change that color and he probably would work on my quilt. Because what I'm doing on my quilt is I'm doing a, let's call it red work. I'm only picking part of the design and doing that in like a red embroidery thread. The parts that I don't want to do, I'm just simply not sewing and I'm passing those by. What does that look like? Well, let me show you my trick for how I do that. Let's come here and let's go home again. Okay. And then let's pick another Disney design. And let's see, here we go. Here's Donald Duck right now. Okay. You can see he's a bunch of different colors, right? So I really want to do him in just the red embroidery color only. So here's my trick. When I hit set, what I want to do is I want to change the colors that are like the blues and the yellows and all that kind of stuff. I want to change those to red and see what I need. So when I go edit, I can pick up this, and then you can see up here I have the different preview of the color. So if I come up to his little jacket, oh, maybe I want that red, maybe I don't. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make that white for now, and it's going to change him and see what he looks like. So I'm going to go through all the different colors and change them either to white or the color that I want to do, which is red. And see what Donald's going to look like. Now this really works on a design where you really have that outline. If there's no outline and you change all the colors, well, it's not really going to tell the story of what that image is going to be. So let's see, let's take off this and his little feetsels, and now I have that. Well, you know, I think I want to add a little bit more. Maybe I want to make his hat red, or maybe I want to make his little feet red. I'm just going to come in and I'm going to experiment with that. I don't want his little eyes to be red. Okay with red feet. Definitely not a red hand. And it looks like his hat is embroidered at the same time as his coat. So this is how I experiment, and I go through the design and see what I want to do in just red and white, or whatever color that I could choose. I could easily make that a blue and white, or whatever I want. So when I do that, then I have the cues for what, when I embroider, I'm going to just pass by the white and stitch all the reds. So that's pretty easy. Now, if I don't want to have to do this right before I sew, I can take this and I can save this design into the memory of the machine, or a jump drive, or a USB stick, or whatever I choose. Sometimes I just come in and I make all the designs I want for my little quilt, and I know that that jump drive or that USB stick, that's what I'm going to use for my quilt. Now, if this is not enough designs for you, because it's a Disney machine, you can go to a website called iBroidery, and you can purchase any kind of special Disney designs that are there and is available, as long as they fit in your machine. You'll have to put your serial number of your machine, because only Disney designs can be sewn or embroidered on a Disney machine. Got it? Cool. Now, let's go to my Mickey and let me show you how I did that white mask, which is right here. The reason I did it is because sometimes, well, let me pull up the Mickey and you'll see. I want to delete Donald, because I've already stitched him. I have Mickey in the memory of the machine. Oops. In the memory of the machine, and there he is, set. Now there's my really big Mickey, right? So now I know, because this area up here, his ears and all of this different areas that have a fill stitch, right? If I stitch that over the seams of a quilt, what's going to happen is the seams are going to sew through. When I'm sewing over that 3 layers of fabric, well, I'm going to get a ridge in Mickey's ear. And I don't think that looks very good at all. So what I like to do is, when I'm doing a design, especially a large one like this, I'm going to take away the quilt parts underneath. Now what I can do when I come in to edit is I have the ability to take the outline of Mickey. So when I come in here to the flower, this is where I take the outline, and I can send the outline off to my design center to create that mask or that background that I'm doing. So you can see how it's coming around. It's even coming around the little Disney copyright down here. Now what I want is, I want this mask to be smaller than my embroidery. I want the edge of I want it to show on the edge of my embroidery. So this is where I use this distance key up here. Can you see it might be kind of challenging, but you see the dark line around him? Well, let's take that and make that distance small. And keep going. Because I don't even want fabric under his little whippy tail either, do I? So I'm going to go down, 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 and what happens is that outline comes away from the different parts. and because I don't want it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this outline and send it off to my design center. And I'm going to take away the parts that don't please me and just create a simple outline stitch that I can use to put my mask down. So that's as max as I can go. I think that's going to work. I'm going to go into memory and it's going to shoot it off to my design center. Now let's add that to my Mickey as a background. So I'm going to go add my design center, and then I'm going to pull up from the memory of the machine under the little flower. I have my outline of Mickey, and here he is right here. There he is. While we're here, look, I took outlines of other different designs. See this one out here where it has the little mouse ear hat? You could easily take that and make a little applique of mouse ears. It's not an embroidery that's in the machine, but you can kind of, you know, come in, take the outline, and kind of create your own. So there's Mickey. Okay. So there he is. I do have some areas here that I want to erase, and that's pretty simple. All I really do is take my eraser, erase those different parts, make sure there's a connecting line, and when I come in here I can choose just a double run stitch. Okay. Touch the bucket, touch the outline, and I basically have my outline of my Mickey. I'm going to come in and do some surgery and take away that little tail part and maybe the little remnants of the copyright Disney down there. But I'm pretty much ready to go. That's all I really need to do to make my mask, right? So when I hit next, preview, I don't really have to worry about the stitch length. Okay. I have my outline that I can use. Now here's what I did. I took the outline that I created. Of course I doctored it up a little bit with the tail and the Disney. And I hooped up my quilt with just the quilt and the batting. And then I stitched my outline. So then what I did is I took my scissors, my applique scissors, mighty applique scissors, and I trimmed around the inside of that line. And the batting was exposed. If you nick the batting a little bit, it really doesn't matter. So I stitched that away, and then I restitched that line after I laid a piece of white fabric over the top. Now the white fabric just works for my design because there's a lot of white in Mickey, and well, use the fabric that works for you. You could, if it was a very dark quilt, put black down on there, some black fabric, and that would look really cool. But white works for my red, white, and blue quilt. So then what I did is after I stitched it, I took my ID applique scissors and I trimmed around this time the outside of the fabric. So you can see there's a line on the inside. I trimmed the quilt away. There's no seams in here to really show up on my Mickey. And I have that white fabric to really show up. And it's going to work pretty good. So now all I have to do is I have to start stitching. I hit set. Okay. Now, I have my Mickey and I have my outline. What I would do is, well, I would just stitch my outline first and then come back and add my Mickey. If I've done anything to my Mickey, if I've moved him or anything, I'm going to put him in the memory of the machine. But you know I've already done that. So, I have already done this part because I knew you were coming. Let's go to embroidery and let's go past that very beginning. I'm going to go now here's my first color. It's his little white shoes. I think I need to load up my white thread and stitch his little white shoes, and I'm going to go through the whole thing. And then when we come back, well, I'm going to show you what Mickey looks like. But when I get to the dark areas, I have another little secret that I want to show you. So I need to get to stitching the white shoes, the red, well, whatever I need to before I get to the big Mickey ears, because we're going to make them dark on our light background. I know, I just made it white. I have to make it dark now. You'll see. So I'm up to the last two colors of my Mickey. That took a while. It's a big Mickey. I had a beverage and a snack. So I'm ready for the last two colors. And I wanted to show you my last little hint to the video. This is not a trash bag. This is Embroidery Topper. So what Embroidery Topper does, remember I put the white on there, and that gave me a basis for my Mickey. He's super, super flat, and you don't see any of the seam lines coming through, kind of to spoil his Mickey-ness, right? So he looks like he's floating on top of the quilt. Now, that might have been overkill for this little baby quilt. But what if you're doing something spectacular like a jacket, or you're putting an embroidery over the top of something that's been pieced, or, well, it just has like layers and you don't want those ridges to come through. So that's when a mask would be great. A topper is important if you're doing something that's of high contrast. You're doing a very light embroidery, like the fill, over the top of something dark, like a snowman on a dark blue background. Or, in my case, when I'm using a lot of black for the Mickey ears over the top of my white background. So how Embroidery Topper works is, it's kind of a plastic sheet. No, it's not a trash bag. It's meant to stay with the embroidery for the life of the embroidery. And it's a very special plastic. What happens is I would put it here and cover the area I'm going to be stitching and stitch directly through it. When I'm done, I simply pull it away because it's made to be perforated with the embroidery design. And what it does is it eliminates any show through. Now these Disney designs, beautifully digitized. So now that I'm looking at it, I just have a few little whites sticking through. I don't think it's anything to worry about, especially on my baby quilt. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and finish up my Mickey, and, well, you know, I need to quilt it and get ready for that July baby. Couple things I want to tell you before I send it off to George is, now check it out. Remember how I did just the different colors? Well, look, this is the last little thing. This is my little Mickey head. Can you see that's what that's going to be embroidered? I could have just done that on something, right? I don't have to do the entire Mickey body. So look at parts of the design too, because you can definitely stitch parts. And I have to quilt this, right? So let's return, go back to Embroidery Edit, and I have this little icon that's really cool on the Stellaire. Look, it's going to do my background quilting. I think that's really going to be helpful if I want to get this ready for that baby coming. So that's all I got to say for today. Thank you for watching. I'm going to shoot it off to George. He's going to tell you a lot more about this beautiful Stellaire. It's a Disney machine, and you can do a lot with those special designs.
Thanks, Cathy. That was an incredible presentation. And so let's go over the special offer we have on the Brother Stellaire series. So we have the XJ2, which is their combination sewing and embroidery, and the XE2, which is dedicated embroidery. They both share the same embroidery features, which is a large 9.5 by 14 inch embroidery area with over 780 built-in embroidery designs, and of them, over 100 of them are Disney. It also has over 30 fonts and large, beautiful monograms. And with the fonts, you can edit in all kinds of arrangements. You can arc, you can array, you can even cut and paste and kern it in some custom ways. Speaking of customization, you can take a design and do an automatic applique around it. And with the matrix copy, you can copy this very quickly to make patches. And if we had the scan and cut, we can actually send it to the scan and cut out those patches, and then embroider them beautifully. An additional advanced technology is a new 2-point laser positioning. I can take something like a name and position it perfectly on a line. I can use it to do multiple hoopings and match them perfectly. I can even use it for edge-to-edge quilting. Now, part of what the Stellaire series offers is a special relationship with the scan and cut. They actually can marry together, so I can send an applique design right from my machine and it will cut it out perfectly for beautiful applique. But better yet, I can send a design from my scan and cut and turn it into embroidery. It also unlocks a new feature where I can choose one of the colors of my design, whether if it's a built-in design, I can choose that and turn it into applique. But let's take that heart that I sent over. I turn it into embroidery, I select the color, and now it's applique. Now let's bring over the third part of the piece. I want to create my own fabric, and I can do that with Print Moda. I took an image of a rose and I arranged it just in a beautiful kaleidoscope of color. And I printed that fabric and placed it on in the Scan and Cut. I took my design I created on the Stellaire from the Scan and Cut, sent it over to the Scan and Cut, cut it out, and I have one complete embroidery design created with that trifecta of creativity. Now the XJ2 also is a sewing machine, and it has a large 11.25-inch opening, beautiful lighting. It has 760 built-in stitches, from quilting stitches to applique to utility. It even has automatic stippling and some beautiful decorative stitches that are very, very wide. It also has an automatic 1/4 inch feature which moves the needle over a 1/4 inch from the foot, and you can use the laser guidance it has on there so you can just do some beautiful piecing. It also has amazing fabric control with an automatic fabric sensor, and this gives you the ability to sense multiple layers like in denim, or if I want to sew on some sheer fabric like this tricot, I can do that beautifully, or even working with elastics. It handles the fabric beautifully. If it's even more extreme, we can add the digital dual feed. This is a belt-driven feed system that gives perfect contact on the fabric. And so you see here with this marine vinyl, there's no slippage. I also can use it with such things as minky, which is hard to sew with, and of course, quilting. So let's talk about the special we have on the Stellaire XJ2. This is the combination sewing and embroidery machine. This has a manufacturer suggested list price of $12,999.99, and it's on sale for $9,999.99. We have interest-free payments, plus we're offering free shipping across the country. But wait, we have a special bonus. We're going to include that Print Moda Studio, that fabric printer by Brother. That has a retail value of $1,499, and that's included free for a limited time. Now, let's say we want the ultimate package, the trifecta of creativity. That's when we add the Scan and Cut. So you add the Scan and Cut, now we have all three items, and we have that on sale for $10,749.98. We have interest-free payments and free shipping across the country. But wait, this is for a limited time. Now, if I want just the dedicated embroidery, let's say you already have a sewing machine and you want the XE2, which is dedicated embroidery, this has a manufacturer suggested retail price of $9,999.99. We have it on sale for $7,499.99. We're offering interest-free payments as well as free shipping across the country. And of course, we're going to include that bonus, the Print Moda Studio, free with the purchase, and that has a regular retail price of $1,499. But let's make it the ultimate, the trifecta of creativity. You will get the Scan and Cut added with that, and that total package for all three items is $8,249.98. And we do also have interest-free payments on that as well, and free shipping. But don't wait, this is a limited time offer. Click on the link to order. You can email us at customerservice@moores-sew.com or give us a call at 1-800-865-96